What's up, everybody? Gil here. I always start off the show by showing some love to the partnerships that we've built through this podcast. All these companies that help make this podcast possible. First and foremost that we'd like to talk about almost every week is our friends over at Yjack. Guys, Yjack has some new products out that are awesome. I've been able to have my hands on a few of them. I will have my hands on the rest of them here shortly. One is being the Yjack temperature and humidity kit. If you were out there and you thought that they forgot about you with the P51 870 digital manifold, they did not forget. Guys, this kit is going to be the wireless temperature probes, the wireless clamps, the wireless psychrometers. This is really going to take that 870 to the next level. I have had my hands on this. I got one sitting right next to me. It is an awesome kit. If you have that manifold, I highly recommend that you get this. You're going to unlock so many features. All right. They also have a new digital scale coming out that this thing is built like a tank. It comes with an app that you can go to. Everybody wants things on an app, so they definitely have some new products. Guys, go to www.yellowjacket.com and check out all their new products. Guys, and remember, 70 years of expertise built into every tool. Next is going to be, like I always say, it's summertime. You guys are trying to buy some new gear. You're stuffing your pockets and your wallets with all that money. And if you want to get something, guys, one of the best selections of tools that is out there is our friends over at TruTech Tools. Sadly, they do not sell Yjack, but if you're looking for anything else, go over to TruTech Tools, pick out whatever you want out of their vast array of all different kinds of tools you could possibly imagine. And when you get to checkout, put in the discount code Uncensored and save 8% on your order. All right, that is Uncensored. I'm not going to spell it like I did last time because if you guys can't spell it, you don't deserve 8% off, okay? But guys, go over to TruTech Tools, save yourself 8%, get yourself some new gear, all right? TruTech Tools, great stuff, great price, and you cannot beat their selection. Last but not least is our friends over at Service Titan. Guys, stop playing in the minor leagues, man. Go up to the big leagues, get yourself a CRM that works, that you can grow into, that does everything that you can imagine to make your business grow. Service Titan has it, all right? And we used to always think like, oh, it's the most expensive, blah, blah, blah. Sadly, it's not cheap, but it's not as bad as you think for what you get. So guys, if you're out there, you're running a business and you're hitting that wall and you feel like you can't grow, guys, you need to check out Service Titan. For any discounts applying, being friends of the podcast, please email us at hvacuncensored@gmail.com and we will get you hooked up with who you need to talk to. All right, enough of that. On to the show.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all of our global listeners.
If you're trying to take your HVAC game to the next level, then buckle your seatbelt, crank up the volume, and try not to be offended, because you're listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast with Gil Cavey and Kelley McKay. Now, here's Gil and Kelley.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 90 of the HVAC Uncensored podcast. I am your host, Gil Cavey Jr., sitting alongside my buddy, old pal, Mr. Kelley McKay. What's up, my man?
What's going on, man? Anything?
Same old thing.
It's still really, hot man. Outside.
Same old. It's gotten worse here, man. This week we've actually been not like real feels 100 degrees. It's actually been 100 plus, like the actual temperature. So real feels is like 109, 110. And as a bald guy, I got nothing to catch the sweat. Yeah. So it just, I'm walking around like a homeless looking guy.
Yeah. It's been hot.
But
yeah.
As a segue, yeah. As a segue, this is the time of the year that all of your training comes into play. That foundation that you built some years ago, whether it's 1 year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that foundation that you have in this industry is what can make or break you, and it can make your road a lot easier than some other people who come in and they really don't know do diddly ding dong. And that's the sad part about some of these people. So Kelley's going to introduce a guest that is going to help us take care of that.
Yeah, I'm also seeing a lot of ads out there for technician positions that are open because everybody's struggling to get help right now. And the reality is there's not a lot of experienced technician positions that there's actual bodies to fill those positions. There just isn't. So that's why I'm excited to talk to our guest tonight. He's the provost and school director at Perfect Technician Academy, Mr. Dr. Thomas Moorman. Welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sure. So I guess we've talked a little bit. I guess we'll start off. Go ahead and let the listeners know a little bit about yourself, and then we'll tie into what the actual academy
Absolutely.
does.
So my background, I worked in higher education for about 28 years in the state of Texas. I have a doctoral degree in education, and I worked as a vice president and then a vice provost for academic initiatives at the University of North Texas Health Science Center in Fort Worth, Texas. I did primarily medical education for about 25 years. So it's great moving from one essential service in medicine to another essential service in HVAC. So it's exciting to be a part of it. And made a transition to work with a trade school recently, just a little bit over a year ago. But one of the things I said is we want to change the trade school model or change that paradigm and move from enrolling the masses and graduating a small amount and then finding jobs for 60% of those that graduate. We want to change that paradigm and enroll the right students, graduate as close to 100% as we can, and then place 100% of the people that graduate. And so that's really what our focus is, to change that paradigm, get quality people into the industry to help not only the individual make a great income, but to help the industry continue to solve the problem of technician shortages that we have.
That's awesome. I mean, like I said, as far as there's so many schools out there getting it wrong. And I hate to say that, but they are. And a lot of guys, they don't know that they've made the wrong decision until it's too late. So when you say that you're trying to get quality applicants and stuff like that, what is the process? I mean, is it just anybody? Hey, here's my money, I want to come to your school? Or is there a process to be chosen to be able to go here?
We are a Texas Workforce Initiative program. So we are open, but when we say that, what we do, our recruiting is really focused into different areas. And so we're focused on our recruiting with the employers and the contractors that are out there in the industry. And we also focus on the military population. So about 65% of the students that come into our school are from a military background, either just now transitioning out of the military or been out for 1 to 2 years. And so they come in with a lot of technical skills already, and we're just retraining those technical skills for the industry that we're in. For example, I was talking to a guy at Fort Bliss, and he worked on Patriot missile systems. And he said, I didn't go to college because, I didn't really like high school, never planned on going to college. I'm about to get out of the Army, and everyone wants me to go to college, and I just don't want to do that. And I just don't know what I'm going to do because there's no cities that need a Patriot missile system. So I said, tell me about the Patriot missile system. And he talks about the GPS and cooling system in it and the electronics. I said, I guarantee you, if you can repair a Patriot missile system, we can take those technical skills and train you how to repair a home air conditioning system.
Absolutely.
That is so true. And me and Kelley, we've talked to a couple of people some episodes back that these guys get out of the military and I was lucky. My dad did this. So I kind of had that guideline, but a lot of guys get out and they're like that. College isn't for them, and shooting people really doesn't transfer in the civilian world. And I say that jokingly, obviously, but a lot of times they come out and it's like, go be a police officer, and they don't want to do that. And this is something that's good. And the fact that you guys are willing to work with the VA and stuff like that really does warm my heart. Being a military member family, that is awesome. That is so good to hear. And really, I won't say the cost. I know we talked off air and you said how much that's the school cost, the roundabout. And when I think about it, their school here charging way more than that. And these guys come out of that school and can't change filters.
Yeah, we're about the median of the cost, actually. So, But the commitment to the military is a very important thing. That's one of the reasons why I got involved. I never served in the military myself, but I was born on a military base overseas. I grew up on military bases overseas and stateside. My dad served from 1941 to 1975. He was a naval aviator flying in the Pacific in World War II. And I still remember when he retired in 1975, life on the base was good. We moved off the base and he thought, okay, I'll get a job. I'm only 52 years old. I'll get out there and do something. And struggled. No one would hire him, and eventually he gave up. And so our family dynamics kind of spiraled around that. So one of the commitments I made, I said, is anything I can do to help that transition process for military, I want to be involved in that. I want to make sure that when people come out of the military, they know that they have opportunities. And let's make sure they can see that clearly. And this industry and all the trades actually are great opportunities for military guys coming out. So I really want to encourage them to show them that pathway, because when they come out, they're being told, go to college. And as a former college administrator, I saw so many people that came to college that really didn't want to be there or didn't need to be there. And all they're doing is accumulating debt and helping build out our financial crisis with the student loans, as opposed to getting out in the industry, going to a 6-week training program and starting to earn money right away, where, you're going to be able to provide for your family and move forward. And that's what it's really about, is how can we make that transition a positive experience?
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. So can they use the GI Bill? Can they use that for this?
Yes, we have been GI Bill approved. So we are eligible to receive GI benefits and train them. And then, the VA will pay them a stipend, typically, depending on what chapter and how they're funded. I mean, you have all the different codes and different things, but if they served active military for any length of time, if they're deployed overseas, most likely they're going to have 100% coverage and then receive a stipend, for living stipend, while they're in school as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll get BAH, they'll get a housing allowance, plus the school's all paid for. So, yeah, that's good. Because I know they've been doing that for a little bit, but to be approved by that is good, because then these guys don't have to worry about the financial part of it. It makes it easy to now. It makes it almost like a no-brainer.
And I'll tell you, we do the general EPA certification, but one of the other things that we do while they're here is we'll offer them all the NATE certifications at cost, basically. So just the cost of taking the exam and a $20 proctor fee for that. So basically for $125, they can get a NATE certification as well. And we'll have some of these guys that'll come out with 3-4 NATE certifications by the time they leave the school, because they'll do self-study in the evenings and then come and take the test with us, because all of our proctors are NATE certified, NATE approved to offer those exams. And so, that's another benefit. And the VA will also pay for every one of those certifications.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. That is good. It's good to have the VA behind you. So this, so I know this is different. So I guess this is hard for you guys because each state is different. Because I know that Texas doesn't require an actual HVAC license. It's just a contractor's license, correct?
Yeah, you have to get a permit to work in HVAC, basically. And then there's a contractor license, which is another, if you want to be an independent contractor, you have to get the contractor license. But to work under a contractor, you get basically you go to the state, take a short test, pay the fee, and you're done. So we don't have the apprentice, journeyman, master, all those different levels in Texas. Actually, the majority of states don't have those levels. I think there's 13 or 16 states. I have to go back and check that number that actually have that requirement. Yeah.
Mine does.
So that makes it a little complicated. Yeah, Oklahoma, just north of us, they have that requirement. We've had a lot of technicians that'll come down, train with us. They'll work in Texas for 5 years, and then they'll go back to Oklahoma with that 5 years experience and move into the field a little quicker. So just depends.
Yeah. Yeah. We have it here. I'm a master HVAC and gas fitter. But you can go to Pennsylvania, the state right above us, and not know anything and start a HVAC business. I think they don't even got to take a test. Like, it's like, you pay $20 for this license, just the name of your company and stuff like that in Pennsylvania. And then you're riding around in a van. I'm like, no wonder there's a bunch of, I got a sister that lives in Pennsylvania, and I've seen some of those installs, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely want to vet the company that you're bringing into your house to fix your air conditioning system. Absolutely.
So,
yeah. So no, go ahead. I was just saying, when he said that, I thought there was more states that did it like us.
That's what I thought.
Than vice versa. So it was funny. It's well, not funny, but it's ironic.
I think I need to go research that list. But the last time I checked, there were 16 states that required it.
Well, you sound more confident about the topic than I do. So
yeah.
I'll go with what you said.
I concur. I was just going to talk just a little bit about, because we've really struggled with finding people. Like I put out I shouldn't say finding people, but finding technicians with experience. Like, and the technicians with experience that we have hired in the past, I've hired several over the past 12 years since we opened our business, and there are like, none of them are still with me. Like, they just don't work out for whatever reason. Some of them are nice guys, but maybe moved. Others, we just didn't get along, or they were stuck in their ways or had bad habits. But the best people that we have right now are all people that we just grew. You know, we brought into they came from a different industry, and we started training them, and then they started riding out in the field, and they learned, and the ones that, just like with any business, the ones that apply themselves advance a lot faster. And then the ones that, are a little slower, they're still advancing, and they're just great guys, and they're hard workers. And so what I found this last round of hiring that we did in like May, is I had like 70 applications and only one guy who actually did HVAC for a living. And I scheduled an interview with him, and he didn't show. And so we probably interviewed 30 people total. And, anyhow, we found a couple of really good guys from that, and we're happy to start growing them. They've only been with me for about a month and a half. And I'm really interested in your school, because I guess my whole point of this whole story is that there are great people, a ton of great people out there. They're just in a different industry, and they haven't realized that HVAC is their home yet. So
that's right.
We've got
we agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And the school was founded because the owner of the school actually owned a contracting company, and still does. I mean, their family's been in air conditioning since the 60s. And, what he found was the same issue, is bringing in quality technicians. And so many people were transitioning and changing. And so they'd move from one company to the next company and back around. And what he decided is he needed to train his own technicians. And so the school started basically to train the technicians for his own shop. But then we developed a relationship with contractors around the country and others. And all of a sudden, these people wanted to, send other people to us. And so what we created was we worked with a couple different contractors around the country talking about values-based hiring. And if you interview these people, you have this group interview, you find 5 people that have the values you're looking for, the work ethic you're looking for, but they don't have that knowledge, then you can send them to us. We'll train them. We'll send them back to you, and they're ready to go. And typically, we set up a kind of the payment plans and how we set that up. Hopefully it's beneficial to the contractors and help them retain that employee for a long period of time. And so that's our goal, is to kind of benefit the industry as well. But, it's been very successful when we started looking at hiring the right people, not someone necessarily that has experience, but the people that fit our culture. And when you get the person that fits your culture, hey, we can train them, and you can, then you put your spin on it, and, within a short period of time, they can be operating their own van and being successful.
Can you give us a brief, like, I don't need like the curriculum, but like a brief overview of like the process. So say I was coming to your school, how does it work? How do I get there? Like, do I get down there, I check in, just like an overview. Sure. Of
just real quickly. So the application, they come to our website, perfecttechnicianacademy.com. They fill out the application online. We'll reach out to them. We'll pick a date that they want to come. So we start classes basically about every 2 weeks for a 6-week session. So there's classes that overlap each other. We have 3 sessions going on at any given time on the campus that are in different stages of the curriculum. And so, we'll run people through that way. We have 21 sessions through the year. So every 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have a session that starts. So they'll pick a date that they want to come. We'll send them an itinerary, the arrival information. You fly into DFW Airport, basically, or a lot of people will drive from where they're coming from. I've had someone drive from California, someone drive from New York here to Texas to come. So they'll get here. We have a hotel set up. So they go and check into that hotel on a Sunday night. So the hotel knows they're coming. They'll come check in. We do match people up with roommates because, we're trying to make sure it's effective. And we want them to build that cohort, work together, learn how to, work off each other, challenge each other, study together, those kind of things. So we'll match them up in the hotel. Monday morning, they'll show up for class at 8 o'clock, and we'll keep them there till 5 o'clock every day, and they'll be with us 6 days a week. So Monday through Friday, it's 8-hour days. Saturday is a testing day. So it's a half day basically. But then if someone's struggling, or if an instructor knows that hey, this person needs a little help in this area, they'll stay with them Saturday afternoon and work with them to work through those things that they need to learn. We want to guarantee that everybody that comes through has every opportunity to learn what they need to learn. So our faculty will meet them before class, day after class, whatever we have to do to make sure that every student's going to be successful. The other piece is we try to keep the class sizes small. So our classes will be between 10 and 14 students per instructor. We don't have classes that are, I think once I've had a 16-person class, but that's as large as we've ever gone. And for safety reasons in the lab, we don't want to go any larger than that. So we try to make sure that, we keep that ratio down. That allows the instructor to spend a lot of one-on-one time with that student as well. So they'll spend that 6 weeks, 6 days a week with us. They spend 8 hours on campus, most of that time in the lab, and then they'll have 2 hours of homework every night. So there's book work they'll have to do, theory stuff they have to read, study, understand, whether it be electrical systems, whether it be airflow, gas pump, gas heat pumps. There'll be different sections that they go through. So they'll have homework sheets they have to do, and they'll turn those in and kind of work through them. They come back in the morning. And then we have tests. Then we also do self-study things. So for EPA, we don't teach the EPA part. We give you the study materials. You study on your own in the evening. We'll do some quizzes on it, and then you'll come and you'll take your EPA test. We do the same thing for NATE certifications. If someone wants to do a little extra work and get a NATE certification, there's a little extra cost for that, but it's the cost of the exam. And so we'll give them all the materials they need to study, prepare for it, and then we'll just proctor that exam when they're ready to take it. So, the reality is we're trying to do everything we can to get as much information to them in a short period of time. And that military background, we do call it HVAC boot camp. I mean, one of my recruiters is a Marine, and that's how he refers to it to the guys he talks on the phone to all the time. So, yeah.
Semper Fi. Well, let me ask you this then. I'm just saying this real fast, Kel. How have you guys been now with the COVID stuff? Have you had to shut down? You still full-fledged?
So one of the benefits, we're in Parker County, Texas. We haven't had very many cases here, although just one county over in Tarrant County and 2 counties over in Dallas County, it's been a little bit worse. But, Judge Dean, who's our county judge, actually said, hey, as an essential service, you're training these guys for an essential service. I don't want you to close down. Now, when the state first closed, our governor did order things to slow down. So we didn't accept students for the month of April, but we had classes going on. We continued those classes. We finished everybody out that was here. And then in May, we started our classes again. And we just tried to limit the class sizes to about 10 or stay in that kind of range. So it's been a little bit less people in a class, but the reality is we've been going gangbusters. The industry needs the technicians. And so, we just haven't stopped. And a lot of trade schools have gone online and done things online. Talking to our faculty, they said, no, that's not the way you're going to learn this industry. They need to be on the machines. They need to be in the lab. And we're not going to do it that way. We're going to do it in person.
I agree. Because when you said you're rooming guys together, how, some people are a little different now, I can't stay with this guy. He's got COVID. I think he's got COVID. We haven't
had major issues like that. I mean, we've had a couple guys that were sick at one point or another. And so we put them in a private room. A couple guys went home and then came back and finished. But we've had no one that's tested positive. None of our students that have been here have tested positive for COVID or anything like that. But those are concerns. I mean, people, you you cough now in public and people get concerned. So, they're watching out for each other. But the reality is they are spending 8 hours a day in class and almost 2 hours a day doing homework at night together. So that cohort of guys, they don't get a lot of other socialization other than the guys that are around. So there's not a lot of worry about spreading it unless someone goes out carousing or doing other things. But the reality is they're pretty confined and pretty busy most of the time, so they don't have a lot of time off to do other things.
Yeah. So I just had a quick question about, do you check in with the business owners, like just to let them know like how the guys are doing? And if you do, like how often does that happen? Once a week or every couple of weeks or?
Yeah. So if a business owner sends us somebody, we don't necessarily check in with them. Now, the business owners sometimes will contact us. The students are talking to them. But what we will do is at the end of the course, a lot of the agreements that we have with the business owners and the students, since we're an institute of higher education, we're still under privacy rules relative to higher education, but they sign waivers where we can release all their grades to their employer and that stuff. So there is a little pressure there for them, spend the time, do well, because they know their employer is going to see the product of what they've done.
Good.
So the reality is we will share as much information as that employer wants, and we'll build that into the agreement when they send the student.
Gotcha.
Have you guys been getting women? Like, I know because women are getting more prevalent. You're seeing more. Are you guys getting more women coming to the school?
Women, it's still hard to recruit women, but in the year that I've been here, I think we've had 5 women out of, so I'd say it's about 2.5%. So we've had about almost 200 students. We had about 5 women. The reality is if I talk to the contractors, they keep telling me, send me some more women. If I can get them, send me some women, because the women that we have had come through the program tend to be very successful. They do a really good job of building rapport with clients and building trust very quickly. And as you know, this is a people business as much as it's a technical business.
Yeah.
Yep. You got that right. Well, our friend Coral, she's a killer out there. She's out there stepping on guys' throats. She's making a killing. She went from being a dispatcher to a maintenance tech, and she does, 500,000, whatever she does. Like her,
this year.
Yeah. Her revenue is crazy.
I had a couple of females apply, and they didn't show up for the interviews. So I was disappointed, because I'm excited to hire a female technician, because I believe that they will be so much better at rapport building and building that relationship with the client than the dudes usually are. Not that some of the guys aren't really good at that, but
it just happens quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they have less hurdles to overcome because there's just an automatic trust. I mean, especially who answers the door typically when you knock on the house? I mean, most of the time it's a woman. And so if there's another woman, there's no threat about letting them in their house or any of those other things. A lot of those things go away real quickly and just moves very smoothly. So we encourage women to apply.
Yeah, I've never even had one apply. I mean, I would definitely hire one. I'd be interested to do it. I've never even had one apply. Or the only girls that have ever came in, it's always been for like the office jobs, which I don't deal with. So, but yeah, that's we've definitely seen that grow. So yeah, I definitely wondered about that.
Well, if you could talk Christina into just giving up that position and going into the field.
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes she might want to do that. Yeah. Not to go. Christina is like my kind of partner. She's the office manager. She runs the office. And then we have our boss, the actual guy who owns the company. But not to go off on a side note here. She went on a long vacation and her brother had COVID symptoms. So she's actually self-quarantined and working from home, which has been miserable. Everyone, when you have an integral piece that's not there, it's very, very, very hard. So let me ask you this: when they get into the school, I mean, is it all? Are they doing just residential? Some like commercial? Do you know any aspects
absolutely.
of that?
Our focus is really residential repair. I mean, that's what we're focusing on. And as you know, I mean, commercial units, the concepts and theory behind air conditioning are the same. It's really size and scale and those kind of things. There's some things you'll have to learn, but we don't teach, working on a refrigerator or that kind of stuff. We're teaching home air conditioning, repair, maintenance, and installation.
I would imagine you cover some aspect of the communication side of it. Do you have a particular sales process that you how to present to the customer your findings and,
Yeah. Actually, the last week of class, the last week of the program is all about customer relationships and how to ask for money. I mean, that's the biggest hurdle we find that a lot of guys have trouble with is making that ask for money, because they think, asking someone for $500 or $15,000, that's uncomfortable when you know that they may be struggling or they're going to have to get a loan to pay for it. But, you got to value what you're doing. And that's a big part of it is we explain to them everything that goes into getting that truck to that house. I mean, from the advertisement dollars to the call center and all the different pieces of that puzzle that interaction has to be able to pay for. And so when we talk through that and we try to give them that rationale, and that's a big part of that. Once you have that understanding, then it makes it a little easier. But then we'll have them go and they film themselves. They get a partner and they film themselves knocking on a door, having that interaction, going through the process. Here's the fix, the better and the best option. We go through all the different kind of scenarios and things you can do. We actually have worked with Service Titan, one of your sponsors, and we train some seasons with the Service Titan module as well, so that they're aware of some basic things with that. We don't get into a lot of detail with it, but that's, we're trying to build it more into the curriculum, but it's in the early phases of doing that. But that's where they'll have all that technology, and Service Titan has its own platform of how to do a lot of those things. And so that's what we want them to try to get familiar with.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. It definitely sounds like you guys got all the things hit, like the curriculum sounds like it's definitely put together for somebody to be successful. And I really love how they're all there. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had somebody say you get done your 6 weeks and the instructor says this guy's not ready? I mean, what do you do? In boot camp, they had, the fat platoon, so, guys overweight, they got to go over there.
I told you before, we strive to have 100% graduation rate and 100% placement rate. In reality, graduation rate is about 98% and placement's about 88%. And the reason is because we have a few situations like that. So we'll have someone who, really doesn't put in the effort. And this is an industry, if you're willing to work hard, you're going to do well. But if you're not willing to work hard in the training, you're probably not going to work really hard in the field, and you're not going to do as well as you need to do. And so, we know that pretty early on as they start going through and how they're testing and what they're doing. And if they're spending the time doing the homework they need to be spending, you'll figure that out. And so we'll call them into my office. I'll sit down with them and the faculty member, do some developmental conversations about, hey, if you want to be successful, these are things you're going to have to do. And we'll get down, not very often, but occasionally we'll get down to the last week and say, hey, you're not going to get a certificate from the school. You're going to get your EPA license because you passed that test. That's great. So we will work with you to get you, say, an installer assistant position, but we're not going to work with you to get you in a truck. So you're not ready to do it. And so the faculty member is going to evaluate them and say, okay, where do we think they are? And that's what we're going to do is we're going to try to find them a job that's going to be best suited for them. And that goes also, I've had a couple of people that didn't pass at all. So they left after the fourth week or whatever because they weren't passing. They got frustrated. They left, but they passed their EPA. And so my commitment back to them, I said, even though you didn't finish the program, if you want to work in the industry and you're willing to go in and work as an install assistant, we're going to work with some of our contracting partners, find you that opportunity, and then you can develop and turn those skills as you go through that process. And that's the best way to learn. Get on a crew, start doing it every day, and it'll start piecing together for you. Because a lot of these guys, they're not book people, they're hands-on people. And once they get their hands into something and start doing that, that's when they start really, really learning. And you can teach them in a lab, but as you know, that lab experience to working in a 130-degree attic or hands-on in a tight closet is a very different experience. And so until they get that experience, they still really aren't completely educated and ready to go. So we're trying to get them there, but there's still another step. So the reality is not everybody's going to finish. Not everybody's going to be perfectly successful. We're going to work with you no matter where you are and try to get you in the right job in the right place. But again, there's also some that finish. They say, this is hard work. I don't know that I really want to do this. So we've had a couple of those too. That's why some of the placement rate goes down, is because they finish and they say, I don't know that I really want to do what your trainer do, because they get out in the field. They do. I encourage people, if you want to get in the industry, do a ride along with a company before you come to school, and make sure that's something that's the kind of day I'm willing to work. That's one of the things I'd encourage everybody to do.
I agree. And that's a couple of statements you just said. And I'm sorry, Kelley, I got a big mouth. I love, because how you said that shows that you guys are more worried about the product, the person that you're delivering to a company, than the revenue. Got their money, let's just keep rolling them through. So that makes me so happy to hear that. And then the other thing is that these guys, like that situation where they said they don't want to do it, you guys are teaching them the way it's supposed to be done. So, it sucks they spent that money, but maybe they don't want to do it, but they still learned a skill that they can fall back on that. If they just, hey, I tried to go be a manager of a clothing store, man. I'm going to try that HVAC stuff, because we see it where these other schools, they sugarcoat. They tell them all these things are so great. You guys can all own your own company. You guys can all do this. And they just feed them lies. And then when these guys get into the real field, like the real industry, they have no idea what they got themselves into. Not one iota. Yeah, it's bad, but it sounds like you guys definitely got it right, man. If you guys are open, I would love to, we would love to interview, and maybe even if it's just like a live stream or something shorter, one of your graduates. I would love to know their experience,
Absolutely. And I could hook you up with some that stayed in the industry and some that did. We have one that's working at NASA right now, but he left the residential community. He's working at NASA doing some stuff, commercial wise with them. I said, but he said he'll come back and talk to us. I said, the experience I had at the school taught me that I can do more than what I thought I could do. And that's led me to be able to do these other things and challenge myself in other ways. And so it's not just, my philosophy as an educator, it's always, I want to help everybody that I meet achieve their personal best. How do we do that? And we do it one step at a time. And that's really what it's about. It's helping everybody achieve their best. And if we can do that and we can help someone find a career in HVAC, that's really what we want to do. We want to support this industry and help it grow. But not everybody's going to be a great fit. And some of these guys have decided that, this is what I want to do. We've helped them get other jobs that are more maintenance type jobs, working for an apartment complex or working at one of the universities that they do. They may go around changing air filters all day or whatever, but they wanted a set salary and not working on a commission or other things. So, we try to find what's right for that individual.
Well, if you got any in the Maryland area, please let me know. I'll hire them in a heartbeat. I don't know. In Kansas, Augusta, Augusta, right? Yeah, Kelley will hire them. So you got two companies looking for people. We'll have to get partnered up with your program, because some of the misfits I'm getting. I told Kelley I had one 2 weeks ago. A guy had an anklet on. He was on house arrest or something, but he was allowed to work. He's like, but I got to be back by 4:30. It's like, I appreciate you being honest, bud, but I'm going to pass. Thanks. That's amazing. It's so refreshing to hear a school out there that's actually doing it right. That is, I would love to look into your curriculum and see, because I always thought about, one day opening my own school, and it's just one of those things you dream about. Yeah. But
y'all can come down and join us. We'd love to have you come down and be a part of our school, or just come for a visit and see what you think. We'd love to get people down here and kind of check it all out, because we're in a warehouse. It is like going into an office where you're going into a shop where you're working for a company. And so, it is an experience of, that full immersion of this is what it's going to be like when you join the industry as well. So.
It's funny you say that, because I probably will be in Texas soon. My wife's still on the kick that she wants to move to we have family in Katy, Texas.
Outside of Houston. Yeah.
So, but I know for you guys, that's still a good ways away.
In Texas, it's relative. That's a 4-hour drive, but that's close.
Yeah, no, true. Well, he's probably in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Is it
he's
Dallas
probably really
Fort Worth?
close
Is
to
that
Texas.
what you're at?
Yeah, we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Yeah. We're 30 miles west of downtown Fort Worth.
Perfect. I've got in September, if they don't cancel it, I've got a seminar that I'm going to, a 2-day seminar. And if it's doesn't cancel and I do go, I would absolutely love to come see what you guys are doing and just visit with you for a moment. I won't take up a bunch of your time, but I'm highly interested in sending.
You can come spend the day with us. You can come sit in classes. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I'm interested in sending some of my guys to you because Dallas it's like a, I don't know, 4 to 6 hour drive. I want to say from.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
It's not bad at all.
Actually, we live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm going to go visit my mom this weekend, and it's a 6-hour drive to go see her in Texas.
Right.
So there you go. And I'm only driving half the state.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, Texas is the only one you can drive 6-7 hours and still be in Texas.
Where I grew up, I could drive 2 hours and be in Mexico, or it would take me at least 6 hours to get out of the state if I went all the way up to Houston, or if I went straight up north, it was a good 10 and a half hour drive to get out of the state of Texas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, that's me. At 10 hours, I can get to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. But I got a bunch of smaller states. Yeah. It's not Texas. Yeah, I've thought about moving there to that part of Texas, and apparently I thought that was kind of done and over with, but it's apparently popped back up again. So yeah, I would love to come down there and check it out. No, I was going to say, because I came down there it's been years ago now, but I was for a class with Mr. Joe Cunningham, did his class down there, because I know I flew into Dallas-Fort Worth. But that's more like, that's not what you guys are doing. That's after the fact, just, the selling process and stuff like that. And it was a class for a manager, not a technician.
I was going to say real quick Gil and I are huge advocates of taking the blinders off and looking at this as a system. This is not just a furnace. It's not just an air conditioner. It's a system. So I hope you guys are training that way, because I know everybody listens to us, and me and Gil are just huge about this. Like, we have to take the blinders off. We've got to make sure that, these certain things are working properly, and
change the capacitor and leave. No.
Yeah. None of that. None of that.
No.
Another question is just, classroom time versus like hands-on time. If you had to like break that into a percentage, what would you say? Just for listeners that might,
I would say you're probably spending about 30% in the classroom, 50% in the lab, and then you have testing and other things that you're doing as well. So,
gotcha.
That may come into classroom time, but it's going to be about 50-50 if you take all the testing and other things you're doing. But the reality is we try to get you in the lab, and every instructor is going to do it a little differently, but the curriculum is a set curriculum. So they all teach the same curriculum. But what they'll do is, they have their own stories, their own history. They'll be talking about some theory. People aren't getting it. Let's go look at it in the lab. They'll go out there. They'll take something apart, put it back together and say, okay, now, I got it. Once you start seeing it and doing it, it really makes a huge difference. And so we're continually trying, we meet with the faculty periodically to talk about what can we do to improve things. And so, we're talking about putting different units, dummy units in the classroom itself so they can demonstrate certain things without having to go out in the lab. We have them take apart a motor and put the whole motor back together again. It's things like that just understanding how it all works is a very important part of the process, because it's hard to diagnose it if you don't understand how the mechanics work for that. So we actually spend a little bit of time at the beginning on even airflow in the house and understanding airflow, even though most of your guys in a truck aren't going to really worry about airflow or even do anything with that very often.
No, we want them to totally understand
what the problems are. If you understand airflow, you can diagnose, hey, this isn't a problem with the unit. It's a problem with where the vents are, the exterior wall versus how the vents are blowing, the size of the vent, the size of the return air. There's so many other pieces of that puzzle. If you're going to do it right, you have to understand those things as well.
They need that. There's guys that have been in this field for 10 plus years that don't know airflow, and it's sad. You explain to them, like, taking a Delta T and, okay, it's too low. Why is it too low? I don't know. Oh man, I got 30. This thing's great. No, it's not. We say 18 to 22 for a reason, or whatever you guys say. And yes, that's awesome. You teach airflow, because a lot of guys don't understand that at all. It's I've almost wanted to build a little attic, make it hot. Be like, hey, let's go up there. Obviously you got to watch them for safety, but let them start to sweat, and stuff like that, and see it. But I guess it's kind of hard to
lock them in a walk-in cooler for 2 hours with just a jacket on.
Yeah. Find your way out. No, that is funny. So you guys supplied their tools and all that kind of stuff?
So everybody that comes in, they'll be checked out a tool bag while they're with us. And so they have all the tools they need, the meters they need, everything. And they'll kind of learn through that process. We'll go through and talk about all the tools that they may need, what they're going to need to purchase, and all those other kind of things as well. We're working on a plan. We haven't got there yet, where we'll provide some tools, but we're not going to provide the basic tools. We're going to provide more of the meters and things, because we get a lot of guys who come from a contractor. They already have their basic tool set, but they can always use a nice set of meters and other things too. So we're trying to find what's the best way to do that. We'll probably implement that sometime in our next academic year, because we'll have to change the funding model to support that a little bit. But right now, we have everything they need in the classroom. So everybody will be assigned a tool bag when they get there, and they'll use that throughout their 6 weeks with us.
Yeah,
that's good. Do you still, as far as gauges, you still make these guys learn on analog gauges?
Good.
Good. I'm a fan of fancy digital gauges, and I think it's good down the road, but they need to learn on the analog, where these numbers come from. Exactly. I tell my guys, I'm like, okay, you know what the subcooling is, but if you don't know what it's supposed to be, then that number's useless. Not all of these manufacturers put it on the side. It's great if they do, but they don't all do that. Thank God my distributor does. No, but as far as I know, some of our partnerships, you could go buy all the tools for them through True Tech Tools and use Uncensored if you want.
I made a note of that 8% discount. So yeah.
Yeah, please pass that on to any of your students.
So we're good.
Good.
Yeah. Pass that on to your students. But Mr. Bill Spohn, who one of the owners of True Tech Tools, is an awesome guy, and he is very big on giving back to people that are trying to learn. Because anytime I ever said, "Hey, I'm trying to do a new tech giveaway," he's like, "What do you want? What do you need?" So that could maybe be somebody that you could work with as far as getting your tools at a better cost or something. So, just know I can link you up with Mr. Bill or whatever, but they're great people.
Yeah, no, I made a note of that, and I'll share it with Brian. Brian, he's the one who designs the curriculum, but he also is the one who orders all the tools and makes sure. That's not air conditioning is not my area of expertise, so I trust them to get what they need. And so with the instructors, they work together to pick out, these are the things that we really need to work on or need to have. So it's all good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure they probably got relationships with places.
But, it's always good to check out the competition.
Yeah. So how long has the school actually, when was the school founded? How long have you been?
So the Perfect Technician Academy was approved by the Texas Workforce Commission in September 11th of 2015. So we've been in operation about 5 years now. It'll be 5 years at the end of the summer.
Nice. How big of a complex is it?
So it's, building itself, I want to say it's about 30,000 square feet, something in that range. But we share space with air conditioning company and other things, but the lab is huge. I mean, we have 74 units in the lab, so it's a pretty big lab. And the classrooms, we have 6 classrooms. We use 3 of them right now. Those classrooms hold between 10 and 16 students at the maximum.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So do you guys have a bus or something that feeds the students to school every day?
So right now, I mean, we had a bus at one time, but really people didn't use it. So it's been parked in the back. Typically, we have enough people that drive to the campus, and those that come, and once they meet each other in the hotel, they kind of work it out and give rides to each other to the school and back. It's literally less than a mile between the hotel they're staying at now and the school. So it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a distance. But they tend to drive themselves, so then they go eat lunch somewhere if they want to go out and eat lunch or do whatever they want to do.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you guys feed them at all?
We occasionally we may have a special event where we feed them, but not on a daily basis. That's one of the things. The food, they have to provide their own food. The hotel's next to a grocery store, so they can get stuff and do that.
Gotcha.
The first day they come, I usually go to the hotel, meet them in the morning. So if anybody needs a ride, I'll pick them up and bring them in, or the faculty member will bring them in. And if someone doesn't have a car and they need to stay late, the faculty member will always drive them back to the hotel. So we'll do stuff like that all the time. But whatever we need to do to work with them, we're going to do it. If someone needs a ride, there's certain people faculty have picked up every time, and if they need to, they will. So we kind of work it out as we go.
That's cool. I know Texas miles are different than Maryland miles, though, because when I went there, we stayed in a hotel that was like the Southwest Training Center, but it was a hotel too. And the guy was like, I smoke, and he's like, oh, I need to get cigarettes. He's like, oh man, there's a gas station, right down the street, probably like half a mile. Like, all right, cool. I start walking down the road. One thing I noticed that the roads are very clean. I was like, man, they probably got one hell of a chain gang, because I was like, man, these roads are clean. And I'm walking and I'm walking and I'm walking. I'm like, I don't see no damn gas station. And then I see this, the bus for the hotel. And the guy's like, hey man, like, where you going? I'm like, to the gas station. He was like, oh dude, he's like, that's down there ways. I'm like, that's son of a bitch, man. So we ended up driving to it. I'm like, there's no way that was a mile. And he was like, no, it's probably like 2 miles, man. I'd have been out there dying. But it was definitely beautiful. I mean, and they say Texas is the hot spot. They say that that's like the number one HVAC state like there is,
It's definitely very hot. So we have a lot of warm days, and depending on where you are in Texas, you have all kinds of different climates as far as humidity and all those other. If you're down in Katy, Texas, there's a lot of humidity down there, and there's a lot of people like to stay cooler. So
yeah. Well, hey, if you guys need another instructor, because
we're getting to that point, so don't tease me.
Yeah, because I might be coming down there, and it might be to open my own business, some other opportunity. So Texas is wife's really pushing for it. So it might be happening whether I like it or not. Because Kelley knows my plan was here in a year or two was to buy the company I'm at. But
he's
whatever.
not the boss.
If I got to come to Texas,
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no.
I know how that goes.
Right. Well, I think we all do.
Yeah. It might look like I'm wearing pants, but they're really shorts. She's got all the pants. But, well, man, this is taking a little bit, Dr. Moorman, thank you so much for coming on, because this is awesome. I'm so glad to learn about this academy, and I want to help. I want to help promote you guys. We have our Facebook group. If they don't know, it's called the HVAC Uncensored Nation. It's one of the largest Facebook communities on Facebook. I'm going to share you guys tomorrow, like links to get to your guys' school, and pass that around. If there's anything that we can help you guys promote, if you want to come back on, maybe even do, like I said, the live stream with talking to a couple of your students. Me and Kelley both love this trade. We've been in this trade, forever, 20 plus years. I installed my first unit when I was 10. It's been good to me. I want to give back to it. So if I can, help send people to get that right foundation, I'm all for it. Excellent. I really am. And to help the military.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Well, I hope we can do things right and keep it going right. There you go. And, we're not perfect, but we're, only 5 years old. We're working on it, but we have ideals about what we want to do. And it's not just about, making money. It's about supporting the industry and giving those individuals the best opportunity to be successful. And so, that's who we are. That's what we're about. And I think we've been very successful with that so far. I've been talking to a lot of our former students over this last year, and just doing similar type Facebook interviews and things like that, or Zoom interviews. And it's been very reassuring to hear the comments they have back towards the faculty and the experiences they've had. So I'd love to set you up with a couple of them and let you talk to them as well. And let it be uncensored. I don't need to be there, that you could talk to them on your own and get a feel from them directly. I'd be glad to let that happen.
Yeah, and just so you know, I normally have a potty mouth, but I've kept it clean tonight for you, sir. I've kept it clean. But yeah, no, that's I think you guys got it right. I think Kelley will agree. From what I've heard, it sounds like you guys, you got a good thing going there. I wish there was more people, more schools like that, not to take away from what you guys do, but I wish that was the outline that more schools followed, and not the get them in, get them out, get them in, get them out. That kind of.
Honestly, we want to change that paradigm, and if we do it right, it's going to put pressure on other schools to do it the right way, also to compete. And so that's the goal. If we can change that paradigm, it may happen, a little bit here, a little bit there, but over time, it could change the whole industry and how we train.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, I want to stay in touch. Connor, if I email him, that's a direct
Absolutely,
link to you.
Yeah. He can set up the interviews with students as well. So he's the one who sets up the interviews for me to meet with students and talk to them. So I'm sure, we could set that up and he'd be willing to do that.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I would definitely love to do that. Just any kind of different things that we can help promote the school, but that's stuff that we can do. I have ideas,
Absolutely.
So I'll throw them out later.
We have lots of videos out there, testimonials and things that are all out on our YouTube channel as well. So you go check out some of those and see some of the student comments and things as well.
Okay, and YouTube channel is what? Just Perfect Tech Academy?
If you Google Perfect Technician Academy, it'll come up. It should be there. Or go on YouTube and type it in. It'll pop up.
Okay, great.
Awesome. All right, well, we're going to start to close this out. I mean, I'll say mine real fast. Once again, thank you so much for coming on, sir. We appreciate you. Appreciate what you guys are doing down there in Texas. And keep giving this industry that we all love, awesome technicians with a great foundation. It's awesome.
It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd also like to thank Dr. Moorman for coming on. That's great. I'm so excited about this. Not only to hopefully come visit you guys, but I'm truly, there's a certain amount of frustration as a business owner of the time that it takes to get somebody up to a certain level. I'm not going to have false expectations, because I understand that you cannot be in the field communicating with the customer. Like, you just can't beat that experience. But all of the fundamental basics, if we could somehow expedite that process. And that's what I'm excited about, because I've wanted to do this, and it's something I don't want to do. Like, I could, spend 6 weeks with people, but I'm just not willing to give up all of my time to do that. So I'm really excited about it. And it's something that I've been wanting for a while. So anyhow, can't wait to talk to you more about that, but this has been great. And I hope that, I know we're going to help a lot of people with this episode. I know a lot of people will grab onto it and want to do something.
Sorry, I was typing all that down on my typewriter.
Excellent. Well, again, thank y'all for having me, and make your way to Texas. We'd love to host you and have you on our campus.
Awesome. Will do.
Yep, we sure will, sir. If you want to hang tight for a second, we'll close this out real fast.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know we did, and like I said, I'm really excited about this. So I hope I hope our listeners are excited about it too, Gil, because this is exactly not only the type of people that we need out there helping us build our industry and bring a lot of new people and giving jobs to the military when they come out of the military. You just cannot beat that. Like,
this is what I've been asking. This is what we've been asking
absolutely.
for, dude. Everything that we've said about training and schooling, this is great. I didn't even know this place existed. But we're gonna know. We're gonna work with them, and we're gonna make sure that schools like this get the recognition they deserve. But go ahead, Kel. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So. Like Gil and I always say, we don't really ask anything of you guys other than to subscribe and leave us a review. But we're going to ask you, on this to spread the word about this Perfect Technician Academy, so that others, all you business owners out there bitching and moaning about not finding good help. There's lots of good help out there. Now just find that right personality, that one guy who you believe, has all of your values. And as long as they share the same values, then send them to school, invest in them. Maybe have them come on for 60 days before you decide that they are a fit, and then send them to school. And they've got some ways of working that out to where it's very beneficial for all parties. The school makes some money so they can keep recruiting people. The business owner gets a technician that knows what he's doing a lot faster. And the guy that you just sent to school, or the gal, gets a jump up in their career, help them skip maybe a year of time, getting just the fundamentals down. So that's exciting. So guys, be sure to check it out on YouTube. Be sure to go to perfecttechnicianacademy.com. And that's all I got. Love you guys. This is a great interview, and go make money.
Yeah, guys, I'm excited like Kelley. You guys know my background. You know how we feel about training. So to hear about a school like this it's awesome. It means the world to me, because yes, it conquers so many issues that we have. One, we're giving people a chance. Okay. We're setting them up to be successful. We don't have people that, like I said, get them in, get them out, get them in, get them out. And we're creating a workforce of guys that don't know what the hell they're doing. And it's not even necessarily their fault. It's the system that we've created. So to see companies, schools like this that are doing it right, and they're giving people a chance to be successful, is awesome. The fact that they're helping the military. If you've never been in the military or understand how the military works, the transition, it is hard. It is life-changing for people. And having someone who will help you make that transition is huge. Okay. For the person in the military, the family, the whole shebang. The fact that you stay there, that is huge. That the fact that they help you travel there to get there. Your company can send you there. As a business owner, we always get those people. It's like, man, God, I wish you knew how to fix AC. Well, guess what? Now they can. Hey, man, you know what? You really want to do this industry because you got all these characteristics. Hey, man, if you're willing to make a trade, I'm going to send you to school. All right. So there's no excuse now, guys. So all the business owners out there, check out the Perfect Technician Academy. If you're out there and you're listening to this, and maybe you're just new to the trade and you're not confident, you still question everything you do. Maybe you got pushed into a truck too early, but now you got no other choice because you got to put food on the table. Reach out to Perfect Technician Academy. There's things that can be worked out, this is good, and we're definitely going to be an advocate, and we're going to keep staying in touch with them and see where this goes. So, guys, we love you. We appreciate you. We hope you're being safe out there in the summertime. Be smart out there. Stay hydrated. Water. Guys, remember, always do what the next guy's not doing. Do those little things that set yourself apart, like going to the Perfect Technician Academy. I'm going to say it again. See how many times I can say it before we close the show out. Yeah. And guys, be safe. Always make it home the same way you left. All right. We all got somebody to go home to: cats, dogs, wife, girlfriend, children, boyfriend, whatever floats your boat. I don't care. I don't discriminate. You can all kiss my ass. I say that every week. Yeah, guys, I love you. Stay safe out there. Until next week, I'll talk with you mofos later. All right. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.